Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Listen, it's Kyle is one of the all-time greats, man. Let's not. I would never seem to be. I don't want to seem disrespectful. I've made comments about it, um, but the reality is something has to change, and it's just Coach Kyle. And what I mean is not necessarily saying even him as a coach, but what something has to change there. If it's the construction of a roster. I'm not saying not to recruit freshmen. I think he has to do that, but he also has to figure out a way to how that mix goes. Um, Offensively, what he is it something that he can do offensively? If is it hiring help or listening to an assistant for defensive help? Something has to change, and I think that's fair to say. I think that's I'm assuming that's what that meeting was about. If Kentucky wants to get any type of postseason success, getting talent isn't the issue, but getting the talent to fit to what they want to do seems to be something that's changing. So that's eluding them right now, and therefore I think that's why I say something had to change. And I'm assuming the AD and Cal had to sit down and say, "Hey, what are we doing here?" And I think that's a fair
Mhm.
conversation for both guys. And if there isn't a plan laid out, then there's options. I mean, let's not act like Kentucky couldn't muster up the money to make a decision if they needed to. Um, Finding the right guy, you can say that anywhere. I mean, Louisville struggled to find the right guy. Who's no one's better to deal with the bright lights of Kentucky like Kyle is. I mean, but
Right.
Coach Kyle is. But he's got to figure out a way, man, to change some stuff. Uh, Whatever it is. I mean, if it's just, I think delegating to an assistant for either side of the ball, something had, and maybe his voice changes and stuff, and maybe CEO it or something like that. There's just something different that I think has to happen. And if not, then I don't think it'll be fun for anybody. I don't think it'll be fun for him being there, and it won't be fun for Kentucky basketball because I think we're heading into a moment now with Kentucky basketball where with Cal that it won't even matter how good of a year they have next year. People are wanting to see them advance in the March. They still want to be talking about Kentucky in the Sweet 16 and going forward. So they'll be kind of like Purdue was this year, but Purdue was dominant. We were all looking at Purdue like, man, are you going to get past the first round this year? We know you're going to win the Big Ten. We expect you to do all this. And that's where Kentucky is right now. It's like, look, and they're not even dominating the SEC. Let's start
Mhm.
with that. So I don't even. That's unfair to make that comparison to Purdue, and so I think everything is fair. Those questions are fair, and we expect change, and I'm expecting to see something change. Whatever that is, we'll know soon enough.
Jarrell, there's a couple of, I mean, there's more than a couple. There's lots of coaches. It feels like maybe it's the times we're in now, but it's Cal who's got to change. Penny in Memphis. That's been the topics here in Memphis. Like you got to, and I guess I would ask you as somebody who's played and coaching the game, how realistic do you think it is that coaches can do that or are willing to do that? That they can look at themselves in the mirror and say, "Hey, I F this up. I need to, we're talking about 40, 50-year-old men. How realistic is it to expect them to do that, especially when they've achieved all Cal has achieved?"
I mean, I think it can be realistic, but it ultimately rests with the person that you're dealing with. And obviously, some coaches are just more stuck in their old ways and their old and whatever set of principles that they have. But man, as we all know, and RC can speak to this too, from being a player to a coach or whatever it may be, that the game evolves, and things usually don't ever stay the same in sports. It's gonna be some type of level of the game changing and evolving, and we kind of reached that point now. And I think he hit it right on the head with, this isn't the old days. And even to be honest with you, if you're looking back on it, it hasn't necessarily just turned out and worked great even then, where you think that you're just gonna get the top 5-star recruits every year, have them for a year, and win big, not the way that you want to win, not the way that Kentucky expects you to win, at least. And I think it has to come to a point in time where, you can't just recruit off a piece of paper. You can go after the best players. Obviously, they're Kentucky. They had a means to do so, and they'll get a lot of those guys because he has shown to be one of the best recruiters in the game and that the game has ever seen. But I think it's just more so about making that you get the right pieces that fit together. And me just speaking in terms of like even now, just being a coach and stuff, and I'm dealing with, obviously I'm not Kentucky and I don't have the same means, but we deal with a ton of high level players, and it's not always necessarily I want the best guy at every position. It's about how will these guys fit and kind of mesh together. Like, do I have a vision for them playing off of one another? Are the pieces gonna fit? And I feel like they haven't done a great job. But then I also feel like they could do a better job of mixing it up, man, and going after some of these guys that could fit their program through the portal. The game has gotten older. Man. It's you're not going to see guys winning when their top 3 or 4 best players are freshmen that haven't played on the highest stage before. So, I mean, I think that's just the reality of the situation. It's something that I'm sure he's probably not opposed to changing up. I know he's still, and I respect him for that, because with this portal stuff, man, it's a lot of these high school guys that get kind of lost in the sauce. Just the priority on the young phenom of the 4 and 5 star guys isn't the same as it was before, because like I said, guys are on a shorter leash. They're trying to win now. They don't have time to develop and wait on guys to get better and show that they're ready to play at that highest level. So I respect them for that, but it's like, man, you got to switch it up, because at the end of the day, it's Kentucky, and they're used to hanging banners, man, and getting national championships, and anything short of that is going to seem kind of like a shortcoming.
Guys, let's be honest. If we're using the word arrogance, then you should be. This isn't just toward Coach Kyle. This is to anybody. If you're using the word arrogance, they should be fired anyway, because it ain't about you. It's about the kids anyway. So, or it should be. So, in your staff and everybody else. So, I'm very careful about using the word arrogance, or if I call somebody or make that assumption with a coach, because if they're that, then they need to go, because you're responsible for so many people's careers. Hey, staff members, assistant staff members, everybody on that staff is tied to that coach. The players, it's not just the players, it's their families, their wives. Like, if arrogance is a word we're describing, if you have to describe your head coach as arrogance, you better get the hell out of there, because you're on borrowed time.
The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines for making all of our picks and predictions, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your hard-earned money to get it. This is what you have to do to make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You'll get up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the rest of the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boost, and the thing that I love the most, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets for anything that you could possibly imagine betting on. From odds on getting to the Final Four to national championship futures, I'm calling it right now. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app. Use that code FIELD and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the pod in any podcast app. Like and share the YouTube videos that you enjoy. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.